Marcus Rodriguez clutched his daughter, Sophia's small hand, as they walked through the polished marble. Corridors of Hartwell Financial Group. The security guard had given them visitor badges and directions to the executive floor. But Marcus felt increasingly out of place with each step they took toward the corner office. At 38, Marcus had seen his share of corporate buildings during his years as a maintenance supervisor, but never from this perspective. Usually, he was the one arriving before dawn to empty trash bins and clean conference rooms. Today, he was here as a potential client, though the word felt strange on his tongue. Sophia, his 6-year-old daughter, skipped beside him in her favorite floral dress, her dark curls bouncing with each step. She carried a small backpack filled with coloring books and her treasured travel chess set, a gift from her late grandmother. "Daddy, why are we here again?" Sophia asked, her voice echoing slightly in the expansive hallway. "We're going to talk to a lady about Grandma's house, sweetheart," Marcus explained patiently. "Remember how I told you we might need help keeping it?" 3 months earlier, Marcus had inherited his mother's modest home in Queens, along with a stack of unpaid medical bills that threatened to force its sale. Elena Rodriguez had spent her final 2 years battling cancer, and despite Marcus working double shifts to help with expenses, the debt had grown insurmountable. A friend at the hospital had mentioned Hartwell Financial Group's pro bono legal services for families facing medical bankruptcy. It had taken Marcus weeks to work up the courage to call and even longer to secure this appointment with Victoria Hartwell herself. The receptionist, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes, looked up as they approached. "Mr. Rodriguez, Ms. Hartwell is ready to see you. Please go right in." Marcus hesitated at the massive oak door. "Sophia, I need you to be very quiet in here, okay? This is important." "I'll be good, Daddy," Sophia promised, adjusting her backpack straps. They entered an office that seemed to Marcus like something from a movie. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves lined the walls, filled with leather-bound volumes. The rich mahogany furniture gleamed under soft lighting, and massive windows offered a breathtaking view of the city skyline. Behind an imposing desk sat Victoria Hartwell, and Marcus was surprised by how young she appeared. At 42, she had built Hartwell Financial from a small family firm into one of the most respected financial advisory companies in the city. Her auburn hair was pulled back in an elegant chignon, and she wore a crisp white suit that spoke of both power and precision. But what struck Marcus most was the sadness in her eyes. Despite her professional smile and warm greeting, there was something deeply melancholy about her presence. "Mr. Rodriguez, please have a seat," Victoria said, gesturing to the leather chairs across from her desk. "And this must be Sophia." "Hello," Sophia said shyly, climbing into the chair beside her father. As Marcus began explaining his situation, Sophia's attention wandered to a small table between the chairs. On it sat an elegant chess set, the pieces carved from what appeared to be ivory and ebony. The board was positioned mid-game with several pieces already captured. "I'm sorry," Marcus said, noticing Sophia's fascination. "Sophia, don't touch anything." "It's quite all right," Victoria said, following his gaze to the chess set. "That's been sitting there for 3 years now. I started that game with—" She paused, her professional composure faltering slightly. "It doesn't matter." Sophia looked up at Victoria with the innocent directness that only children possess. "Do you like chess? My grandma taught me how to play before she went to heaven." Victoria's breath caught audibly. "Your grandmother taught you chess?" "She said it would make me smart and help me think about what comes next," Sophia explained proudly. "She was really good. She always let me move first because she said ladies should be brave." Marcus watched as Victoria's face went pale. "Sophia, don't bother Miss Hartwell with—" "No, it's fine," Victoria said quickly, her voice strained. "Sophia, would you like to look at the chessboard?" Despite Marcus's worried expression, Sophia nodded eagerly and slipped off her chair to examine the pieces more closely. She studied the board with the intense concentration that Marcus recognized from their games at home. "Someone was losing," Sophia observed matter-of-factly. "The white pieces are in trouble." Victoria leaned forward in her chair. "How can you tell?" "The white king is trapped, see? The black queen is here and the rook is here. White can't move without being captured." Sophia traced the positions with her finger, careful not to touch the pieces. Marcus felt a surge of pride mixed with anxiety. Sophia had indeed inherited her grandmother's gift for chess, but he worried she was being too forward. Sophia, we should let Miss Hartwell work. Actually, Victoria interrupted, her voice barely above a whisper. What would you do if you were playing white, Sophia? Sophia considered this seriously, tilting her head as she studied the board from different angles. Finally, she pointed to a pawn that had been largely ignored in the corner. I would move this little one, she said. Grandma always said that sometimes the smallest piece can save the whole game if you remember it's there. Victoria stared at the board, then at Sophia, then back at the board. Slowly, tears began to form in her eyes. That's exactly what she would have said, Victoria whispered. Marcus leaned forward, concerned. Ms. Hartwell, are you all right? Victoria wiped her eyes with a trembling hand. I'm sorry. It's just this chess game. I was playing it with my daughter, Emma. She was 7 years old. And she loved chess just like Sophia does. The office fell silent except for the soft ticking of an antique clock on the bookshelf. Emma died 3 years ago in a car accident, Victoria continued, her voice breaking. We were on our way home from her chess tournament. She had just won her division, and she was so excited to finish our game when we got home. Sophia looked up at Victoria with the profound empathy that children sometimes display. I'm sorry your little girl went to heaven too. Thank you, sweetheart, Victoria managed. Emma was about your age. She had curly hair like yours, and she always wore dresses with flowers. Marcus felt his throat tighten as he watched this powerful woman crumble before them. Ms. Hartwell, I'm so sorry for your loss. We don't have to discuss the legal matter today if— No, Victoria said firmly, composing herself. Actually, Sophia just reminded me of something very important. Emma always said that the smallest moves could change everything. That even when things looked hopeless, there was always another option if you looked hard enough. She stood and walked to the window, gazing out at the city below. Mr. Rodriguez, I've reviewed your case. The medical debt is substantial but not insurmountable. More importantly, your mother's house represents something that can't be measured in dollars. It's Sophia's heritage, her connection to her grandmother's memory. Victoria turned back to face them. I'm going to personally handle your case. We'll restructure the debt, set up a payment plan you can manage, and ensure that Sophia grows up in the same house where her grandmother taught her to play chess. Marcus felt tears spring to his own eyes. Ms. Hartwell, I don't know how to thank you. The pro bono rate you quoted on the phone was already more generous than there will be no fee, Victoria said quietly. Consider it a gift from Emma to Sophia. One chess player helping another. Sophia had been listening intently to the adult conversation. Now she walked over to Victoria and gently tugged on her suit jacket. Ms. Victoria, would you like to finish your chess game? I could help you. Grandma always said that games are more fun when you play with friends. Victoria knelt down to Sophia's level, fresh tears streaming down her face. I would like that very much, Sophia, but I should warn you, Emma was winning. That's okay, Sophia said seriously. Grandma always said that winning isn't about the pieces you capture. It's about the love you share while you're playing. As Marcus watched his daughter and Victoria sit down at the chessboard together, he realized that sometimes the most profound healing comes from the most unexpected sources. Sophia moved the pawn she had identified earlier, and Victoria smiled for the first time since they had arrived. Your move, Sophia said gently. Victoria studied the board and slowly moved her queen to a safer position. You know, Sophia, I think you might be right about that pawn saving the game. Grandma was usually right about chess things, Sophia agreed. She said that every piece matters, even the ones that look small and unimportant. They played for 20 more minutes, with Sophia offering gentle suggestions and Victoria sharing stories about Emma's chess adventures. Marcus sat quietly, understanding that he was witnessing something sacred, a connection that transcended loss and brought healing to both players. When the game concluded with Victoria's gracious defeat, she hugged Sophia tightly. Thank you for reminding me how to play again. Will you teach other kids to play chess too? Sophia asked hopefully. Victoria looked thoughtful. You know what, Sophia? I think I will. Emma would have liked that idea. 6 months later, Marcus stood in his mother's kitchen, now renovated and mortgage-free thanks to Victoria's legal expertise and generous personal intervention. Through the window, he could see Sophia in the backyard, teaching chess to 3 neighborhood children on the same board her grandmother had used. Victoria visited every few weeks, always bringing new chess puzzles and stories about the youth chess program she had established at Emma's former school. The program was thriving, with dozens of children learning that even the smallest pieces could change the game. Daddy, Sophia called from the yard, Miss Victoria is here. Marcus smiled as he watched Victoria join the children around the chessboard. She had found her way back to joy through the wisdom of a 6-year-old who understood that healing sometimes requires making room for new players in an old game. And in the corner of Victoria's office, the chess set remained, but now it displayed a different game. This one had been completed, with both sides claiming victory through the simple act of playing together. The smallest moves, as Emma and Sophia both knew, often create the most beautiful outcomes. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that healing can come from the most unexpected places, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe for more heartwarming stories about how children's wisdom can heal adult hearts, and let us know in the comments about a time when a child taught you something profound about life. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear.